Alright, so I was reading this this Terry interview in this, and yeah, sometimes the camera will do that. It'll just cut out or stop or whatever. But yeah, I was reading and it stopped at. This is from the other part, or the first part. And I was reading at alright, here. You know what? She admits it wasn't difficult. I wasn't really concerned about all that stuff. I was more concerned about learning the techno babble. That was the part that got me nervous. Excuse me. But my makeup, my hair, and my wardrobe were things that didn't concern me in the least. Originally it was shot for 2 days with me having a forehead, and I'm grateful now I don't have to deal with any of the prosthetic glues and stuff. But if they had left a forehead on, it would have been fine with me. I think if I had come from a theater background, it would have bothered me a little more, made me more uncomfortable, but I had been through a lot of tests throughout my career. If they were saying, "Oh my God, what are we going to do about her big nose?" then that would have upset me. But no one was saying that. They were just trying to make me look better, make it look more simple. Close shave. I was so excited to have the job, Farrell insists, that I didn't care what they did to my face. I would have shaved my head. The actress laughs again. Rick Berman asked me, "Would you be willing to shave your head?" And I asked, "Well, are we going to go for 6 years?" He said, "No, really. Would you shave your head?" And I said, "We can cut it short." I guess I'd go for cutting it short. I guess I'd go bald. I don't know. I don't really want to. And Rick said, "No, I don't want you to cut your hair. Because Nana Visitor, who plays the Bajorn, Kira Nyers, wanted to shave her head. I told him, well, good for her. She can shave her head." I'm not going to. That was the only thing that really freaked me out. If I was only going to be working 2 days a week, you'd think, use me every day. I have no hair. The thought of spending 6 years as the science fiction equivalent of Sinead O'Connor reminds Farrell of a terribly off-color joke, which is probably too risque for the pages of TV Zone. "Oh, are you serious? Nah, man. That's my joke for the day," she says with a mischievous smile. "See if you can resist repeating it. I'm Dax, and I can do things like that." Dax character. Getting serious again, or at least a reasonably good imitation of seriousness. Farrell claims that while she now has a handle on her career, it hasn't stopped her from going further. "I think you're always doing it to some degree, because you're always finding something new or challenging in the script." The Dax episode, appropriately entitled Dax, was the one that made me feel the most comfortable, because I found out more about my character in that episode than anything anyone was telling me. Just reading that script made me feel a lot better. I learned a lot from that episode, and so did everyone else. As for executive producer Rick Berman's original plans for the character, which involved Dax being more schizophrenic, something, as a result of the alien symbiont inhabiting different bodies in his lifetime, Farrell is unable to recall them. That must have been way before, because what he told me was I wouldn't feel like that. What I'd feel would be a pull, but I would never feel schizophrenic. In the Dax episode, it explains that after 72 hours of the worm being inserted inside of me, it becomes one, and the worm adjusts to my personality. It's androgynous or something, and adjust to the host it's in. And I'm a female. People have written it that the worm is a man, and I'm not. The worm wasn't a male before me, and it's had male and female lifetimes, but I think it's really just like having another part of your life. And looking back and saying, did I really go through that? I'm a different person. Farrell's career. To Terry Farrell, her early career must seem almost like a different lifetime. Oh. Born in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, she started modeling at age 17. After modeling for nearly 3 years, she moved to Los Angeles in 1984, where she landed a part in the short-lived series Paper Dolls. The series, which dealt appropriately enough with the world of modeling, also co-starred a young actor named Jonathan Frakes, who would eventually become known for his role as Riker in Star Trek The Next Generation. After Paper Dolls, Farrell's list of television credits continued to grow. She appeared in episodes of Family Ties, The Cosby Show, sorry, and the television films L.A. Madam with Faye Dunaway and The Deliberate Stranger. She also made her first forays into science fiction, doing an episode of Quantum Leap called Leap for Lisa, and The After Hours, a remake of a Twilight Zone story originally written by Rod Serling. Farrell's most recent TV credit before testing for Deep Space Nine was the ill-fated American Red Dwarf, where she replaced the actor Hinton Battle as the Cat. The actress also has a few films to her credit, including Back to School, in which she co-starred with comedian Rodney Dangerfield, and last year's Hellraiser 3. It was on the latter project, where she starred opposite Doug Pinhead Bradley, that Farrell learned some of the technical tricks that would prepare her for Deep Space Nine. Hellraising. I had taken some time off and hadn't worked in a while, she explains, and the way it was shot was so fast with so many setups, that it helped me get used to that pace. It was a grind, 6 days a week, and it required a great deal of concentration. You had to know your lines for the next day, and that required you to be very disciplined and very regimented. Also, I guess most of it was that 90% of my reactions were to nobody being there. Doug was usually still in makeup during many of my scenes, and unless I was in a scene with the other girl, nobody was there. I was either looking at a mark or imagining something happening, and if I was looking at my computer, usually there was a piece of felt in front of it, so I didn't get a reflection on my face. That's what helped a lot doing Hellraiser 3. I was then able to imagine things being beamed in or beamed out, or be able to say, oh my gosh, what is that thing? It made it much easier for what I would have to do later on. Space routine. While Farrell has adjusted to her daily routine on the space station, she still finds the pace tremendously grueling. If you're not used to it, it's very difficult, even being able to relax enough to go to sleep at night. Even now, I haven't worked for nearly a week before this episode, and when you have to get up at 4 in the morning, you have you have to get used to that as well. The night before last, I was getting up at 3:30 in the morning, eating breakfast, making coffee, and when I realized what time it was, I said to myself, I must be out of my mind. Then I tried to go back to sleep, but got up again at 4:30 and thought, tomorrow I'm going to have to get up at 4. I might as well get up at 4:30 and feel shitty today. So that helped. With nearly a full season of Deep Space Nine now behind her, Farrell is understandably proud of the work she and her co-stars have done over the last several months. I love doing the show she infuses. It helps that all of us get along really well, and now that the show has aired, the morale on the set is a lot higher. It's doing really well, so everyone is in a great mood and proud of the show. You watch it and say, it looks great. It's so nice to be part of something that everyone really enjoys and looks top notch. There isn't one segment of it that you can say, well, that wasn't quite up to par. We all feel like buddies now. We've been through so much together after working 14 hours a day, and now everyone looks out for each other. We even had the flu the same weekend. It swept through Paramount, and everyone on our show, everyone on Cheers, oh wow, that's from way back too, we all got the flu at the same time. It was the most insane thing. While it's still too early to speculate on the future of Deep Space Nine and her character in particular, Terry Farrell has a few ideas for Trill Science Officer Jadzia Dax. I don't think I want to limit it to what my imagination can bring to it after being on it for only 13 episodes, she cautions. But I want Dax to go to planets and discover new life forms. Maybe Colm and I have to go someplace in a runabout, and that leads to some weird stuff. It's a little hard to imagine what would happen or what could happen. The actress runs her fingers through her hair and removes the 2 wig extensions that make her already long hair even longer and thicker for the camera. Unself-consciously, she shakes her head from side to side, making her hair look less like that of a Federation officer and more like one of those fuzzy-headed troll dolls found in gift shops. Looking up, she grins wickedly and gives her hair another shake before attempting to get serious again. In a way, you just want to bring what you can to what they give you, she continues. If they ask, you give it to them, but otherwise it's their job. Our job is to make what they write down come alive. It's too early on. Maybe if this was the 4th year and you'd asked me if there was something I'd still like to do with Dax, I'd say yeah. And yeah, that was the end of that article or interview.